This is the first edition of the Nugget Bridge Quackcast. I'm Makiri, Paul, Zero Wing, all those fancy names. And I'm here today with Huy.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Huy?
Not bad.
How's the weather in Northern California for you?
It's cold. This isn't California.
Yeah, it's been about 19 degrees today, so California's kicking our butt in the temperature department there.
It's still above freezing here, so it's all good.
Yeah, we probably end up snow tonight. Okay, so let's just jump right in. January 8th, big announcement, new generation, Pokemon X, Pokemon Y. What are your first thoughts there, Hui?
I was honestly not expecting this. I was expecting to be disappointed by like some random spin-off, but they kind of threw me for a loop and threw out this new generation. And this whole concept of releasing the games at the same time in pretty much every zone is kind of really cool to me because everyone's going to be on the same foot when it comes to the VGC scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for us, for the VGC players. I mean, other than, a brand new generation with probably, 120 new Pokemon, is that, we're releasing everything at once and, everyone's going to be on equal footing. And it hasn't affected results in the past, really. Ray just wins everything anyways. But the fact that there's not going to be much miscommunication regarding, legalities on Japanese Pokemon and, Dream World, things like that. The just the same time release, I think, is a great idea. And then no more waiting, 6 to 8 months just to get our version while Japan's had theirs forever.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like in past generations, when we were building teams, we would have like at least a template of Japanese teams to look at, and now we're all going to be starting on the same thing, which is kind of cool because I want to see the American metagame and the Japanese metagame sort of develop at the same time and see where that ends up.
Yeah, that's been a thing in the past, is where the Americans will take ideas from the Asian Japanese players, and just seeing how our I guess our metagames will converge, diverge, and just see how similar they end up being. I mean, they already kind of are different, but the fact that we glean so many of our ideas from them is just, it's kind of, I don't want to say heartbreaking, but interesting. And maybe this will force a lot of Americans to come up with really original ideas like the Japanese have in the past.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I think it's big news, and I mean, we can't really speculate much else other than it's cool that everyone's getting it at the same time.
I mean, we only got like a minute trailer, and that's all we have.
Yeah, so and that's all we can say on it now. Now U.S. versus the world. This is a lot of your department since you played in that.
Oh,
Uh, the we live streamed a competition between the United States and Japan, United States and Europe, and the United States and Korea. And you played in all those, right, Hui?
yep, I got picked to play in all of those, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. So now let's just go quick over your performance. Let's give us a rundown how you did.
Okay, I got a little bit of luck against the Japanese, but I won a pretty close match there. And Europe was kind of weird because I had to rely on a lot of the tricks I was hiding to win. And I got a really nice matchup against Korea, and that helped me win the match pretty easily.
Yeah, the Korea matchup was pretty great. I mean, I can't say I watched all your matches over the course of this, but that Korean one was just really interesting. How he brought Sun and all kinds of counters for your Shedinja, and Tucker just pulled it out. It's just he, I don't. Tucker time was just flowing.
Tucker Time's one of the things that Dwee's been working on since 2010. The team I used for the one versus Japan and the one versus Europe was actually Dwee's team. He really liked playing with the Shedinja, and when he was building it, I would watch him play, and I saw all of the little things he did to keep Shedinja alive, no matter what the situation was. And I really liked that team, and I thought it was good for a best of one. So I decided to take that one to the tournament versus Japan and Europe, and obviously that worked out pretty well. And The thing about the Tucker Time team for the Korea one, it 2013 rules, it was actually like a mix of three different teams I was working on at the same time. It was a like I took inspiration from Articuno 64's Basculin and I think it was Thunderous, his towel mode for soaking and killing things with electric attacks. So I started with that Golduck and I liked soaking things. But then when I realized I could soak my own partner, Shedinja came into the mix, and that helped me play around a lot because it lets me change up. Well, people bring things specifically to counter Shedinja, but then all of a sudden a soak comes out of the back and Shedinja changes types, and it just kind of throws people for a loop, man. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that water type, you've only got two weaknesses there, and grass and electric are semi-common types, but compared to how many weaknesses Shedinja has before, it really throws those people for a loop because you prepare for one thing and out comes another.
Especially with the Staraptor nuke that I had, where I could just take out one Pokemon at any time with Final Gamut whenever I wanted to.
Yeah, you can get rid of those counters just almost immediately and never have to deal with
Pretty
them.
much.
I mean, one thing about Shedinja is it's a cool Pokemon and it's a great show, but I'm not sure I have the fortitude to take that into a regional or nationals or even worlds.
I'm not sure I have that sort of courage either, but I might channel my inner Tucker and bring it next week at SoCal. I am not even sure yet.
Well, we'll see what happens there. So now the streaming part. Did you watch any of that?
I actually stayed up and watched the entire thing. I think it was for both tournaments. It ended up being like 6 hours each of Pokemon matches, but it was a lot of fun just to I guess watch people play Pokemon for your team and against your team.
Yeah, now you and I are big, I guess, stream monsters for the fighting game. Marvel and Street Fighter. And how does it feel to, finally see Pokemon be, I guess, streamed to the world and people actually watching?
I think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of good exposure for the game, and one of the things I really enjoyed about playing Street Fighter and playing Marvel is that sometimes I didn't have to play. I could just sit back and just like pick a stream, turn it on, and just enjoy watching a few games every now and then. And with the Pokemon tournament streaming like this, it's a easy way to kind of unwind while still thinking about Pokemon.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I mean, there's nothing you can really say negatively about it, other than it kind of takes a toll on the commentators, since we don't have the repertoire that the fighting game community or the MOBAs have, where we can get so many people commentating at a high level like them. But I think we're on the up and up, and eventually we'll get things figured out. The Korea match we had Cathedora doing producing,
He was doing a
and that led.
terrific job just managing
Yeah, he
things.
was. I mean, I want to give props to him again. He really let Evan, Scott, Allison, and myself just focus on the commentating and not, the behind the scenes stuff, making sure it's running
I
well.
mean, I think that's one of the things people take. One of the things that people take for granted that in order to have a successful stream, you need to have the technical aspect of it down, as well as good commentary and probably a good game.
Yeah, I again, I want to say thank you to Cathedora, and I hope to see him, continue to do that in the future. It's it's a behind the scenes job, and probably doesn't get a much enough thanks for that. As we know from Spooky and all the other streams, they don't get enough respect.
They definitely don't.
All right, and the Korea match.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to address. Um, the tournament versus Korea, that was kind of the first look we really had to look at players other than just Staging Park. And a lot of the Koreans proved to be very strong players. They had very different play styles and very different teams, and they all put up really good fights. And one of them even knocked off Ray, which was actually kind of surprising.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't had a good look at Korea, unlike Japan and Europe. So this is, the first look we got at them really, and I don't want to say it's surprising, but they did really well for basically a bunch of unknowns to us. I'm sure they've got a whole community thriving over there. And they knocked off Wolf and Ray, the world's 1 and 2 players in that friendly there. So, I mean, they have the strength and knowledge and will to hang with us, the big boys, and hopefully we get to see them at Worlds this year. I mean, they have the Wi-Fi qualifying for their nationals. Hopefully, they get more than one player like they have in the past.
At least one player per division. I mean, they haven't even had that in the past. They've had two players out of three divisions both years, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's been really disappointing, and I hope they get the support that Europe and Japan have had in the past.
Yeah, we can't be a real esport until Korea starts dominating us.
Yeah, we need Korea in there, and we know how they do in these types of games. And now we're gonna move into the Apex stuff. This is kind of a tricky topic here because a lot of people were not happy. There were some issues regarding the start times, and it just ended up it's kind of a mess, I guess to say.
Well, I'm kind of not surprised because I guess I've been to a couple fighting game tournaments and I've seen how disorganized things end up being just because of how many people you have to manage to keep on a schedule. But yeah, I agree. It could have been handled a lot better than it was.
Yeah, I mean, I can get things starting late and stuff, but there was just a lot of miscommunication that really threw a monkey wrench into it all. And 1 minute it's starting in 30 minutes, and after that it's starting in 3 hours, and it was it was disappointing to say the least.
It,
But eventually they did get it going. So I mean, props to them. They stuck it out, and it ended up going well into the night. They were the only people there, from what I could tell. It was. I think they ended almost 3 a.m. And
I
that.
remember watching it around 2 a.m. and they were still going at it.
Yeah, that it was pretty crazy. And but I'm glad they have the tournament. I mean, the more we can get these grassroots tournaments going, beyond TPCI's help, the more we can help VGC grow as a whole. We've seen fighting games go back to that. We've had, Evo was, one of the first major
And
tournaments.
it was tiny. It
But
was
as
a
that,
small, tiny
yeah,
grassroots tournament.
it was in an arcade and no one really cared back then. But it grew and grew and grew, and now, you get 50,000 people watching it. And not only that, is there's majors all over the country, all over the world, and it's grown from nothing, a really big something.
What I like about these things is they give the players that can't really travel too far a chance to play in sort of a local scene.
Yeah, I mean, we had Shofu and the American Dream 38 show up, and they're not from the local area, but just seeing those players there, it really puts a shine in my eye that maybe we can get this going and have more of these throughout the year that don't rely on just online play. And
Waiting on TPCI to just send out whatever we're supposed to be doing.
yeah, once we take it into our own hands, we can really help VGC grow beyond just TPCI. And the streaming there was actually it was excellent. It was done by Evan and Ray,
I caught that and I
and
really liked what I saw, and I liked a lot of
yeah,
what I heard.
they had an audience of about 2,000 for most of the night, and I don't know how many people were actually watching, but hopefully that brought more people to the community and got people interested in Pokemon, because that was, I mean, we've been streaming the US versus World stuff and some of the circuits stuff, but this is the first thing that had a built-in audience because of Apex as a
It's
whole.
sort of our first
And it made
mainstream appearance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, those 2,000 people, even if 10% of them end up caring about Pokemon,
It's still
it's
200
something to,
people.
yeah, it's something to enjoy and hopefully bring those people to the community. And of course, I want to mention the final results there. We had Ben 7,000 ended up taking it all.
I noticed that. And your player, you sponsored Cybertron for this.
Yeah, he couldn't afford to actually go, so I fronted him the money and paid his way into the tournament, and he ended up doing well. Part of why I wanted him to go is, get his confidence up because he's been kind of down lately for some reason. and he feels good for regionals this week. So it did its job, and I made a little cash on the side.
Bringing back the Z-Wing clan.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since that.
Uh,
And then Luke, the American Dream 38, took third. So it was a good performance by everyone there. Birch for running the tournament, Clash for streaming.
Chibo Senpai for running the stream.
Yeah, Evan and Ray for commentating, and of course all the players that showed up.
I heard there were 40
It was
players?
kind of
40 plus players.
yeah, it was a small tournament, but it was definitely great to see everybody show up
Mm.
there, and I think it was bigger than some of the other Apex tournaments there, so it's nothing to scoff at there.
I like this a lot. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, even though it was kind of a mess, I'm glad it happened.
And leading into
And
that, I guess a lot of people use Apex as a sort of practice for regionals, which are coming really soon.
yeah, January 2nd,
Second,
sometime this
20th.
week. Oh, I'm sorry, January 20th, sometime this week. I'm not sure when this is going to go down, but should go before the the regionals. So let's hype that up a little bit.
Well, okay, this is our first regional tournament that uses Black White 2 exclusively. So we're getting access to brand new tutor moves, and the big things that are coming are the Therian,
Yeah,
Landorus, and Thunderous especially.
a lot of things that came out of this were Dream World Pokemon,
Oh, right.
like Intimidate Scrafty.
I think we got Sheer Force Conkeldurr, Shadow Tag Gothitelle.
Yeah, I think those are like the three big ones. I'm not sure if there's any really escaping my mind here. I mean, we also got the Defiant
Oh,
genies.
right.
Defiant Tornadus is something I think is a big deal.
And Sheer Force Landorus, which is kind
Yeah, those two are really. I mean, if you're using a genie, you've got like 6 different options now, and they're all pretty legit. But what do you think of the Therians as a whole?
The Therans aren't. They're not really my style. I've never really liked using the genies to begin with, just because I like the quirkier stuff. I don't like being able to be read so easily. But
Yeah.
I think Landorus is especially really strong with its ability and just how hard it hits.
Yeah, I think the combination of Intimidate and that base 145 attack can be really scary. I mean, it's got a lot of counters and just things that can deal with it, but the fact that it's going to be hitting, like, pardon my French, a truck, it's it's going to be something to deal with, especially I guess in the earlier rounds when people like to play with
Just
their new toys.
definitely.
Yeah, and then the Shadow Tag Gothitelle.
I think that's an interesting one.
It's something I really want to play with. I saw Cypher.
I kind of caught that.
I believe it
Okay.
was
Yeah,
Cypher.
I think it was Cypher.
Yeah, he was using that, and I'm not sure if he used it to, how it, to the best of its ability, but it's something that's just really interesting, and I think could really change the metagame. I mean, I could see it pairing with certain, I guess, counters to things that it's weak to, and you can, just go off from there.
Well, the thing I noticed that something that he did was that I saw at one point he had a Gothitelle and a Heatran out, and he locked his opponent into keeping a, I think it was a Breloom and a Sizzle out at the same time. And
Yeah.
if you can set that up sort of like that, you can almost guarantee and eliminate two Pokemon from of the opponent's team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he pulled that. He didn't get any KOs off of that, which was really weird because he's running Trick Room, which I'm not sure is the way to go with that. Because if he had a fast Heatran, he could have taken 2 KOs right there. If you don't have that, I guess the counter for Gothitelle and its partner, you can be down 2-0 really quickly. And
I guess the thing is, people have built their teams to switch in and out of threats, and just taking away that ability kind of changes the match, mostly in your favor.
yeah, I mean, the ability to stop switching is just really huge. Even if, you're not abusing stealth rock and things like that in PGC, but the hard switches we need to take attacks, you take those away and people, I'm not sure they know what to do.
Because you can only protect once, and then all of a sudden, you
Yeah, you're kind of in trouble. I mean, we've had Wobbuffet forever, but the fact that it can't protect or do anything other than counter moves. It's and encore, I guess. But the fact it can't do anything offensively just is really troublesome for that. But the Gothitelle, I think, is something that could change the
It
metagame
has
in
a
the
lot of
future.
neat tools.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential. Along with another one of my favorites, Intimidate's Crafty. Now, I mean, I don't think it's going to replace Hitmontop, but its potential to stay on the field for a really long time is something that can be scary.
One of the things is I don't think it's necessarily a Hitmontop replacement. It's just another Intimidator. Just because they're fighting types with Intimidate and Fake Out doesn't mean they play the same role, I guess. Because Hitmontop, see, to me, it's more of like a one-hit nuke with that close combat and the Fake Out. Well, Scrafty's designed to just kind of stay on the field and just like chip away at things.
Yeah, I mean the loss of Moxie I don't think is a big deal because the Intimidate is so good at just keeping it on the field, just drain punch until you eventually take something out or you die. It also has some neat tools. I mean, you can get the snarl in there for the intimidate and the minus special attack, just to really mess with people. But I'm not sure how viable that is as a whole, though.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe
And
someone
then
will find something to work it out.
yeah, I mean, all new things, you're always gonna find someone
That's
toying
why
with
I'm
it.
so excited for this new set of regionals. We're gonna see so much stuff.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of new stuff here. And then leading from the intimidate, Scrafty, we got Defiant Tornadus. What do you think about Defiant Tornadus?
Defiant Tornadoes is kind of interesting. Um, I guess I love Defiant as an ability, but on Tornadus, I'm not so sure it's, I guess, the best user just because it's so frail. I mean, it's gonna hit like a truck, but and then I guess you're just gonna lose it to something else.
Yeah, I mean it's got that nuke basically. If you get that the +1
The acrobatics.
and then the acrobatics flight gem, you're taking something out. But the fact he's kind of weak defensively is a bit of a turnoff. But it's almost a hard fighting counter because him on top isn't going to enjoy that acrobatics.
I don't think anything's really
Uh,
taking that acrobatics.
I'm not sure how much it does to the Therian Landorus, but I'm sure it wouldn't enjoy it either.
I think it might KO with +1.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take something out. Just a matter of how many things it can before it goes down.
It's definitely one of the scarier things to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not looking out for it, you might be in some trouble. Were there any other Black White 2 things?
Um, hmm. Well, things like Conkeldurr got Ice Punch and things like that, which are kind of cool to play with.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change anything regarding like sheer force. I think Guts is still the play.
Definitely.
And we got all those tutors. I don't think anything really pops out in my head
Just kind of
other
the tutors just kind of eliminate the need for Generation 4 for breeding things, I guess.
it's nice for some of our RNGers. And I I can't think of anything else other than Breloom. Have
Oh,
you seen
Breloom, Technician Breloom?
yeah, Technician Breloom? Have you seen much regarding that?
I've played against a couple. I think I played against Randy's Technician Breloom, and it scared me that uh, I don't recall Breloom's base attack off the top of my head, but the stab boosted Mach Punch with Technician really hurts.
Yeah, it's almost a Scizor with sleep powder.
100% sleep.
Yeah, 100% sleep and the Mach Punch. I mean, I guess its coverage moves aren't all that great. Grass and fighting can, be kind of overlap
But
and
the thing is, if you can
not
get
really.
something to sleep, you just have to. It's not even chipping away with Mach Punch at that point. I think Mach Punch probably two-hit KOs most things.
Yeah, I mean, if you get something to sleep, you basically take it out of the game for a couple turns. So, I mean, it doesn't need to be one hit KOing a lot of its counters when it can, chip away at them with this sleep. Um, is that it? You got nothing else on Black White too?
Like, nothing off the top of my head.
All right. How do you feel about regionals now? I mean, you started in 2009, I started in 2008. How do you feel, regionals have changed since
I
then? How do
think
you feel
we've
about
come
it?
a really long way since 2008, 2009. I mean, in 2008, you had what, two regionals,
Yeah.
and they just fed directly into Worlds.
Yeah. Kind of embarrassing, but yeah, that's the only way I can get to Worlds is regionals.
I didn't do too much better with 2009. I just had to qualify for that lottery and beat up on people that, just kind of made it through a lottery.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that everyone gets to play, we got Swiss now, so everyone gets to play multiple rounds, and then
There's a best
now
of
we got the
three top cut.
yeah, and now we got the top cut from the past year that we didn't have, unfortunately. And I mean, it's we all have our complaints, but it keeps growing and getting better, and I have high hopes for the future that we can keep plugging away and getting better at
Just making these,
the regionals
making
as
these.
a whole. Yeah, I like to see more invites for Worlds, but I'm not going to sit here and complain because they've been doing a good job.
I mean, you don't have to travel like 600 miles just to enter a lottery and hope you're one of the 128 anymore, which is huge.
Yeah, the fact that you get to play is a great sign for a lot of people. I mean, once you're in it, you got a chance,
And you get
and
to
that's
play
all that matters.
Pokemon for a whole day.
Yeah. I mean, I still get complaints. I wish it could be on like Saturday, and Sunday's kind of a bad travel day,
Yeah.
especially after a tournament. I mean, I had to deal with that on NorCal Regionals in November, but I mean, I made it to my flight on time and everything, so it all works out, and hopefully the future will continue to see some growth for the regionals.
Yep.
And gonna start wrapping this up now, but the 2013 International Challenge.
Wi-Fi
That's
tournament.
registration. Yeah, Wi-Fi tournament that there's gonna be 3 age groups this time. So juniors, seniors, and masters, and the top 128 in North America and the top 128 in Europe are gonna get championship points.
And Korea's,
No,
or this is actually going to act as a qualifier for Korea's national championship.
yeah. So don't DC on any Koreans,
Don't
please.
DC at all.
Don't DC period, but especially don't DC on Koreans. There's also the prize here, the Jaboka berry,
Jiboka.
Jaboka,
And if
and
any of you are curious about what that does, it's a held berry, and if you get hit by a physical attack, you deal 12.5% damage of, I think, your opponent's max back to them, and then you eat your berry.
that's a great berry. Everyone's gonna be using that. And one match recorded to get one of those, so you can play your one match and be done to get your berry. Registration starts on January 17th and ends on January 24th, so make sure you register by then. And the competition will take place on Friday, January 25th until Monday, January 28th.
Should be a good, fun weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we got regionals just before that and go right into a Wi-Fi tournament. It's kind of exciting.
A lot different than 2009 when we had to wait like 7 months for tournament.
Yeah, it's a lot better now. And make sure you link your player ID so you can get your championship points.
Definitely.
Uh, yeah, I'll put that in the show notes to how to do that. So we're gonna wrap it up now. Anything you wanted to add, Hui?
Nothing in particular. I guess follow us on Twitter. I'm at Queenasaur, which is my name, and then a. It's gonna be a show notes, so just click there.
And I'm at makiri PKMN. Make sure you follow Nugget Bridge on Twitter at Nugget Bridge
And our
and on
glorious,
Twitch.
and don't forget our glorious editor, Evan. I think he's at NB Clad.
Yeah, we gotta keep plugging him. And follow our Facebook, facebook.com/the Nugget Bridge.
And watch our Twitch and our YouTube for battle videos.
Yep. We'll see you guys all at regionals on January 20th.
Don't be afraid to come and say hi if you see any of us.
Yeah, Hui and I are gonna be going to Long Beach, so if you see us, come and say hi. We won't bite.
We'll be in our Nugget Bridge t-shirts.
Yep. Check out our Nugget Bridge T-shirts on the forums in the shop tab. And you can get your own Nugget Bridge T-shirt. All right, everybody. Marvel is coming up next.
Later, guys.